Get in the
Do you
bus.
know I have that bus?
I do. I think you had it when
Yeah.
you traveled, didn't you? It's a little bus. You
I
showed it to
couldn't I
me.
couldn't get it on a plane. Well, it's a bit bigger than that. A loaf of
Oh,
bread. I couldn't get on the plane, so I had to drive it across the country.
there you go, with one foot,
Hello,
right?
everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Glad to have you here
That
with
was
us
that
today.
was perfect. Hello, everyone.
Everyone.
Hello, everyone.
That's
Talking to
right. Hello,
you.
everyone. Hey, I watched another, we're TV. Well, I'm not a TV. I don't know what I am. Anyways, I watched another show and I'd love your input on it on Netflix. And uh, it's called something like Don't Die. You don't want to die. I think it's actually Don't Die. And it's about this guy, and he's rich and famous, of course. And it's about this guy that does everything possible to reverse the aging process. It's so interesting on a mindset level and also disturbing at the same time to be.
Man who wants to live forever.
What is it?
Don't die. The man who wants to live forever.
There you go. That's it. That's it. Exactly right. Put that on your list. Not,
So
I don't
here,
think it's super long.
it's kind
Um,
of creeping me out just looking at it.
I know, right? And so it's interesting because you and I had talked about in a science capacity meditating, and we had talked about how science shows we have those things called telomeres. They are your life based on the health of your body, like your years. I don't know how to explain it right. And what he's doing the hard way is trying to get the same results. And in the whole show, nothing about meditation is mentioned, which is interesting. Like he talks about mindset, and there's a couple times where I think I perked right up, like, am I going to hear it? No, Michelle, no, you're not. I thought that was sort of interesting, but it's
That's so
it's
funny.
a little creepy. Like they traveled other countries where there's different laws, so they can do things.
You know what I'm thinking? You know what maybe we should do? Because we're really good at this. We should maybe be doing movie reviews.
I think that's a great idea. Absolutely.
I
But for
think,
documentaries, for me, I'm not so much a movie
well,
person, but yeah.
movie documentaries. Um,
Although, if you told me something was good, I would trust your opinion. Well, would I? I don't know. You, well, no. Let's say I would. I would.
well,
I would try it. I would watch something you recommended.
well, it's funny you mentioning opinion. So I'm going to throw something up there. I'm kind of watching, and it's one of these things. Like, do you ever watch something and it's kind of it's not good or bad. It's peculiar or weird, but
All the
you're kind of
time.
and you go like, so I keep watching it, and like, so there's a thing. I don't know if it's on Amazon or Netflix, and it's called Billionaire Bunkers. Look
Okay.
it
I
up,
haven't heard
write
that
it
one. I
down,
will. I got my
and
post-its.
all I'm going to tell you about it because I've just started it. I think there's like 6 episodes. I'm in two, and I think it's a foreign, like it's
Oh, is it subtitles?
no, they're,
Okay.
yeah, they move their mouths, but it's in English.
Oh, okay.
but
I feel
the
like I stumbled
concept
across it.
is they these people they that are billionaires, they're these people sell them that within they take advantage of the rumors of war, that they've got these
Ooh.
bunkers below this lake that will save them in case of war. So
Oh,
so
yes.
basically
Wow.
they use the news of wars, I'm rabbit earring wars.
Yep.
They get these billionaires underneath there, and then they're able to control once they get them in there of what's going on. So they make the wars look really bad, and they simulate what's going on.
Oh my word.
Creepy but good. So there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting. I made a note.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so the interesting thing, like I was saying telling Michelle last week, I've been off and on actually for a while. Like it's been good for the most part, but my voice just goes into these I don't know, just it kind of doesn't leave my body, but my voice goes like into space. So last Sunday, like probably about 3 o'clock, I was feeling like tired in that, but all of a sudden I lost my voice. Like it was like, and I could tell when my voice gets kind of, sounds like I'm a blues singer, smoked a couple cigarettes, drank a bottle of Jack Daniels or something, right?
I
And it
got
wasn't
that.
that. It was like it was almost like it was sore to talk type of thing, right? It's
Oh,
usually not sore, right? And so anyway, we canceled, which was great. But
what did you take
within
for it? Did you take anything for it? Like
no,
honey and cinnamon or
that sounds like strippers. honey and
well, honey will help your throat. It's
honey
good.
and cinnamon sound not that I've never
That would
I
never come to my mind in a
you know
million
what?
years.
I
How
think I think
odd.
I've been to a stripper bar once. My uncles took me and I played pool. Not my jam. Not my
Yeah.
but
Oh my goodness. I heard that a million times.
no, being honest, I got proof. Anyways, no, I didn't do anything. I just kind of rested and didn't talk.
Okay.
But so in this two
Must have been
weeks,
great.
I've got next week off, a week of holidays. So
Oh,
I'm
nice.
gonna work on my book
Good.
and I'm going to in getting like helping my daughter get like now her daughters are in school. So they were in school for a week, and
Yeah.
last week they were sick and like they weren't fake
Same
sticking. They
thing
were
as you.
I didn't like mine was just they were like sick. They were like even
Oh,
Emily, like don't go near them sick.
wow.
So girls didn't go to school for a week, which was not very good, but it's not nobody's fault. And other
Uh-huh.
people were sick, so it wasn't them, right? It
Sure.
wasn't just them.
Right.
But yeah, and just kind of working through some stuff and that. But within our 2 weeks, as the world wasn't
Got
crazy enough,
crazy. Yeah.
it's just and we'll talk about it. And me and Michelle may have we haven't practiced this, may have some same views, different views. We may share just things that could we look at things like we both really don't get information on from broadline news, which is I think is smart, right? And what we do, I think we both do, is we do a deep dive if we see something. So within 2 weeks, North America's gone crazy. We thought it was crazy, but it went it went to a level
They
I didn't.
challenged us and raised us
Yeah.
too.
And so we went to just grab my bottle of water. So we went to so this Charlie Kirk guy who I've heard the name. Do you know did you ever follow him before?
Um, in bits and pieces, but he always lost me when he mentioned religion. So
Right.
not so like I definitely knew who he was, but fun fact, since his demise, I've watched all sorts of stuff and I really like him now. So that didn't pan out so well, did it?
So
Right?
so well, but it's such an interesting thing. So, anyways, my granddaughter, Izzy, knew the name. This is this name that pops up on Fox News, and he started that thing for the universities, and like about he would go like truth, whatever it's called, right? So I
Turning
knew the
point?
name. What's that?
Like turning point? Is that
Turning
what?
Point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever he went to the universities, right? So mom messaged me. I'm a bit of a work teams meeting, but almost I'm being almost like honestly. So JFK was assassinated 1963. Can't remember the date. I was only a kid. But I remember because the world stopped 9/11. So it seemed like this when Charlie Kirk was shot, North America stopped.
Yeah, for sure.
And so forgetting sides and this that so all of a sudden so mom messaged me, I didn't respond back, and then so my granddaughter doesn't like religion, so she's like you, like her aunt, and she had heard the name. So the good news is whatever we hear, because this is one of the reasons I want to talk about this the fake or the manipulation of what's going what's going on in the world, right? And this stuff we like, me and you like. This was your old radio show with your buddy. But
Yeah.
what
Oh my
happens is,
gosh, me and Sandy would be on fire this
yeah,
week.
well, we're stealing your fire, Sandy. Sorry, but so all of a sudden you go into this thing, and right now there's more fire, like more like today, like a buddy of mine today. There's some big religious music thing going on today, like 100,000 people, and
It's
like a
a
guy's not.
celebration of life, is what it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and looked. So I would see these things that were like short things on Facebook, people I know, friends of mine. And it's funny, religious people on both sides that hated him and loved him, defriending family members,
It's like
husband,
COVID all over again.
husbands and wives, or well, no, fathers and sons that are pastoring churches that now won't even talk to each other, that hate, like it's just bizarre, right? And so I had a couple things came in. So this is in my mind, right? And we could talk a bit of using him as an example, right? Politicized was a word that came into me. So what in my mind? So what's happened in the States, and this has happened. So getting into media narrative, but what happened in the States is they, with Charlie as the example, he what he's kind one of the values that people like that wouldn't be on your value was his values as a Christian, right?
Sure.
Good man,
100%.
blah blah blah. So a lot of people will go, "That's I really like it." That's what Mom would say, right? And then there would be other peoples that would say, "I like his." He's a very good debater, very good, like good talker, right?
For
So
sure.
people,
And respectful.
but and yeah, and not scared and knowledgeable, right?
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
like I like Ben Shapiro and I like
Yeah,
him, and so they're very good, right? But they do, right? And they're good to talk to people they don't agree with, right? So, but the thing that's happened in the States, which is I think is dangerous, is all of a sudden this politicizing things is taking politics and interjecting into things. So what happens is it would be like um, use Tina at her job, whatever work she has, where they have a bunch of employees, and it's where the owner tells the people how to vote. So all of a
right.
sudden, at with religious places, they're telling people you got to vote, let's say Republican, blah blah blah, because God or whatever, right? So all of a sudden, this um, you know religion and the the mandate of the U.S. Republican, but it was well, that's different. But they're almost in skin graft together, right? So you can't tell the difference. So to me, that's been and it doesn't matter. It's not about the faith per se, but all of a sudden you bring in this deranged, crazy thing with religion into, in my opinion, a place where it shouldn't be. Like I think people sharing their convictions, I believe, say in abortion, I believe in the Second Amendment gun right to protect whatever it is, right? I believe having the ability to share it, but I believe when you're in places of authority, an owner of a business, a leader in a church, a leader in whatever, manipulating people and telling people how to vote, like I think in the States, because so that was really in the world, people, that's what was happening. And that's where a huge amount of anger was happening. So that's just my world, right? I was seeing brutal stuff online, right? So
Okay.
leave that. That's the
Are you
past.
talking about like just the last 2 weeks or when Trump runs? What do you?
From Trump to Trump, last 2 weeks since Charlie,
Oh, okay.
gone up another 90 degrees, right?
Oh, okay.
So leave that pile of caca here, right?
Yeah, let's.
Because there's some people who I know that are smart, and these are people that don't have to be religious or not. They're just people that will investigate. That's what you do. That's my
Yeah,
13
yeah.
granddaughter, right? So all of a sudden you go, okay, I read this about Charlie Kirk. It could be, I've read this about SB, I read this about ABC, right?
Yep.
We go look, and then all of a sudden you realize that whatever news or whatever, whoever's trying to leverage people to go their way, they're leaving out the end of the sentence.
It's
They're
heavily
interjecting
edited.
this,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
So
That's been
me and
going on a
Ethan,
long time.
but the challenge it is, I was telling Ethan, we think AI, this AI now, this like making, I said AI, fake intelligence, been going on forever, right?
Yeah.
So we're now in a dangerous, well, been a dangerous time, but it's just such a weird thing. Like what's happening overseas in different parts of the world, and the wars happening there, the way they happen, like Ukraine and like different things, like it's not worse. Like it's everything bad is bad, bad is bad, right?
Right.
But it's surreal. Like you think of the school killings, you think of there was in the States where that person went into the, was it a
The
Catholic
Christian
school?
school? Christian
I think it was a
school.
Catholic school, and they killed the little kids.
The recent one, where it was a
Yeah,
Christian school?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Like it was a little church
Yeah.
school, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so the reason I'm saying this, and I'm not making excuses for one side, not, but all of a sudden people have this agenda, and people are swallowing the evil magic pill to like almost mind control. Like people feel better when they
That's
have
the
people,
problem. They're brainwashed
they want people to
from the
jump
media.
on your bandwagon. So not getting over in the Kirk thing, you're getting people like the guy that shot him, and there's all, this is all over, by the way, like all like, and we can look at JFK, we can look at like JFK, bad example,
But
but
you
we
know,
look
it was a group of people, right? That's what's coming out now.
yeah,
Yeah.
from the
So
chat,
it's, yeah, and also in the on the ground. Like
yeah,
there's the one guy who jumped up and said, "Yeah, he's being investigated with the blonde bushy hair." There is another guy, they're also investigating the guy that was asking the question because it seemed like a really big coincidence. He asked exactly the question, and then the shooter had the trans girlfriend who'd been denied her medical care because Doge
yeah.
made those cuts. So, and there's other things now. They found two. I'm gonna watch my words because we're on YouTube. Two things that go boom that have a fuse that the Coyote and the Roadrunner used to use.
Beep 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 beep.
Yeah, there you go. That could be our code word. Beep beep under a Fox News vehicle. Then I just saw Glimmer, and it's exhausting. Like I go in, I learn some stuff, I come out, debrief. You know what I mean? And I'm aware. So no wonder people are, the people who are turning it into a hate thing, it's so interesting watching the people who are getting fired now as a result of their Facebook or whatever live videos they're doing in celebration. It's so fascinating. Like for me, this is the biggest reality show I got to watch right now. Right? Like all the information as it's coming in, and she's lovely, his wife, who I'd never seen before in my life. um, so it's so interesting to think that the people who are now losing their job, same as the big rage about Jimmy Kimmel, right? It's so interesting that they've been so, and brainwashed is a heavy word that I don't necessarily want to use, but like influenced past common sense. It's such another way to say the same thing, where they feel like it's okay to, to celebrate. Like his parents are still alive. My
Kids, yeah,
gosh. Like what a thing. Like regardless, like I said, I never got into the religious stuff, but my goodness, like he has children, he has a wife, he has friends, his parents grieving, like, oh my
yeah.
gosh. And
But
then to
see,
be like, Now I lost my job, you blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, and I can't believe so we become desensitized, right?
Of
Uh,
course.
there was a saying I saw. What was it? Is what's that saying? What's that saying? You talked about the dots. I heard somebody say, um, "Is it a coincidence when everything is a coincidence? Like all of a sudden you have all these dots." And so this
Mm,
this person said, "Isn't like a question? Isn't it a coincidence when we have all these coincidences,
yeah,
right?"
exactly.
So
That's right.
so so underneath, you know, like underneath it all, like on many levels on many different things, and like there's lots of things going on that we're not aware of, right? There's
Absolutely.
lots of things going on, like even with like some of the shows that I watch, finding out about a little bit more information about SpaceX and kind of like his Musk vision, not in a bad way, but
Oh,
just
yeah,
saying, like, and
for
he's
sure.
got the money. He goes like, I don't, I go, I'll be gone, but I believe I've been given the opportunity
Yep,
to plan for us, for humanity to survive beyond this earth.
right.
And people can call him crazy or not, but he has the ability. So that's his investment, and he's working towards that. There's other people that have different, things, right?
Yep,
But then within governments, and within some powers to be, it, in some doing it like there's a lot of evil that just want power and control, and they live in denial, and like brought like in the States, um like the political power, because it's the US, has a global thing, right?
right. Of
Did you ever
course.
watch Designated Survivor with Donald Sutherland, or his son,
Oh, with
Kiefer
Keeper.
Sutherland?
Yeah, I can't remember it though.
Oh, if you haven't, the only series that mom watched, it was like they killed the president and vice president, all these people, and he was like the bottom of like 25 people. So he became the president, and he was like the minister of health. Like he was like so far down below.
That's funny. You know what? I don't think I did, but
It's
I
such
think
a.
you told me about it. I'll write it down
I'm
again.
probably gonna rewatch it because it's long, and I'm almost out after I watch yours. But so the Jimmy Kimmel and what's happening, and like all, like you said, all of these, like there's things that become diversions, and there's, so we, like the coincident thing, like when something happens, and like things, like all of these like the political part, all these things happening against the political party, so the Republican, Trump, and this thing and that stuff, right? And I'm saying this to Ethan and a friend of mine. It's really weird. The Republican Party and Democratic Party, I think 60 years ago, the values the Republican Party has now in the States, pretty much, for the people, the working, blah blah blah. That was the Democratic
A
stance.
lot of people are saying that.
It switched over, but here's what I believe: it comes down to people and certain people, and you look at people that came in, like Kennedy was a Democrat, right? And
Right.
not.
Even Trump was a Democrat once upon a time.
Yeah. So part of it, but the thing is, and so going back to, we're talking about conspiracy or these things. So how, one of the questions was asked, like, how does this guy, when we have issues, he wasn't a he wasn't a politician, but how do people, when we have issues with rooftops, how does this happen? Blah blah blah, right? So all of a sudden we're finding these loopholes again, loopholes. So underneath the the world running, especially in the States, I think right now we're going to find out a whole bunch more stuff.
Well, we are because they're digging into who is financing
Yeah.
Antifa. That's a really big deal, right? And I think that might be part of what motivated that guy as well. Although, like, it was such a big, it was like a spider web. Even the guy, the older gentleman that said he was the shooter first, and then they took him down. Now he's admitted he was a distraction. He literally did that. So, and there'll be a big charge in the States. There, it's not like here.
Yeah.
It's big charges, right? Um, but yeah, so as that's all coming out, I think, I mean, I just think for the greater good, a lot of good things are going to come out that are going to help break down, as far as break down the media being able to continuously lie or
Yeah.
continuously get people going. Excuse me, stir up people, get people upset, get them going. And then as far as the Antifa, I don't know if you followed it back in the summer of love, which was when all the BLM riots were happening. But they were doing, somebody was financing it was the Antifa, and it was also whoever the uprisers were. So in that scenario, it was the BLM people, and they were bringing big pallets full of bricks. And
Whenever
they
you say
were,
BLM and that, I'm thinking of a bacon lettuce tomato sandwich. I'm getting
go
hungry.
for it, right?
Go,
A little
go
bit of
ahead.
salt and pepper. But they were doing that, or they were doing, they'd walk around like they're holding a milkshake, and it was full of quick drying cement. And that's something that they would throw at people. And so it's interesting now, even though that was like, well, almost 5 years, I guess 4 or 5 years ago now, that now it's finally coming to light only because of this instance. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so it's interesting. And then as far as like the late night hosts, and I know, I'm happy to talk about this to you because I don't put anything on
Yeah.
my social media about this stuff. Although I
Yep.
do chirp back to some people, I'm going to admit it.
Yep.
But it's so interesting how it's going to come around. And as you know, I have a great clip of Johnny Carson, and he's talking about exactly why. You probably saw it, the same clip. And he talks about why they never got into that. That was not their role. Do you know why I don't
No.
post any of that on my social media? Because my social
Yeah.
media is not about Michelle, the the mom, the nana, the partner, the wellness coach. It's about me and me uplifting people. I don't deviate, right? And so just like look at all the different music stars. And this isn't just about like this last 2 weeks. Look at all the ones that have been canceled over time just for supporting the wrong person.
Well,
Or,
look at Swift, right?
yeah, what about her?
Well, no, no, it wasn't Taylor Swift. Who is the artist that became, did she endorse, not Biden, who,
Kamala Harris?
who was the Harris? Big thing for Harris or
Yeah,
something. There
that
was
was
somebody
Taylor
who,
Swift. It was Taylor.
and then she just got like kind of bombarded
Yeah,
with losing.
exactly. And it's interesting. She turned around, and maybe because she's engaged now to the football guy. Both people I do
Yeah.
not follow, but of course I know some of her music. But now she's turned around and she donated a whole bunch of money. So the internet says. I can't vet that it's true, but it said that they donated to Erica Kirk. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's fabulous. But did she learn her lesson? Is her heart really in it? It makes you wonder, right?
Well,
You're just not
and so
sure.
here, and so the thing is, yeah, and here's the challenging thing, right? So I'm going to deviate back to, um, so we have a younger brother, not the youngest, so our family will know who we're talking about. So it's not me, and it's not the youngest. There's only three of us, at least
I only
one.
have one younger brother. You crazy?
So our youngest brother, and it's not
Okay.
me.
Is what?
It's not me, and it's not our youngest brother.
Okay.
Who will never watch this show. No, he might. But anyways, so him and mom are adamantly at the opposite sides of, we'll say, Trump, right?
Sure.
And so because that's
So
just
he's
what's
on the
going
wrong
on.
side of history. Is that what you're?
Never own it, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up, because you'll understand, because we're talking about what Taylor Swift did, right?
Yep.
So
Sell out.
first of all, everything done, if you're a rock star, if you're famous, if you're whatever, if people want to find all the bad crap you've done, they're gonna post. If they don't like you, they're gonna post your bad crap. And if they love you, they're gonna
If it's
post. So
available, yeah, no, you're right.
yeah. So
They'll make it
so the
available.
people who so people like Mom who love Kirk, she sees all the angelic stuff of Kirk. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah, of
I'm not
course.
saying, and the people that demonize them, they share all the demonized paste and cut
That's
stuff. Just saying.
why it
So
exactly right. Exactly right.
yeah. So the challenge, so using Swift as an example, right? So there was a conversation between not our youngest brother, but whatever. So somebody else that might be a brother.
Right.
I don't want to get
So
kicked off
many
YouTube.
children.
I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. Um, and um, and it was to do with the character of Trump, about his past, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we know, um, and again, I'm not putting Trump on a pedestal,
No, no,
but
definitely
but
not.
we know obviously in a man with that, it's easy. And I'm not saying the evil. I'm not saying he's not been, some of the things like with women. I'm not. That's not. That's. I don't care. It's not my business. If he's
And it's
whatever's
not
going
part
on.
of the job description.
Yeah. But no, and see, people will try to debunk, because this is what he said about Swift donating money, right? There's people that will try to debunk and call him a racist, but then there will be letters that were from 20 years ago from women who he ran into, say, like a waitress or a hotel cleaning lady that was doing his room, and somehow, like whatever, he would find out about their story and he would help them,
My gosh, 100%. Yeah,
and he would do these things that, and he wouldn't brag about and put it in the paper, right? So there's people like him that is very easy in our culture, if they don't fit into your paradigm, will
right,
demonize, because we can not look at, say, let's say there's 75% good, they will look at the bad, right? So let's go back to Kirk, Mr. Captain Kirk. Oh, not Star Trek. Go back to Kirk. So I went and looked at, because I didn't know a lot. So I saw things that I thought were pretty brutal, and I'm going like, the guy is not around. His family's grieving. Like, why is
oh,
this? Why is this? Why is there so much evil? But I know why, because people hate the sense of power and momentum. That's what they're trying to tear down, the power and momentum of this man, right? But
right.
so I went and looked up some of the things. So I see these things, go, okay, interesting. So I went and looked up. There was a few of them. So one was, he made a statement about Second Amendment gun, about the
Oh,
right to bear
yes.
arms, right? So you never. So I read it. I read it twice, and I saw the clip, right? And or I think there's more than one. And he basically said, but I love the way they frame it, right? But he basically said, the unfortunate thing is, we people that are going to die from gun violence, right?
Right.
He's not encouraging. He's not. He's it's like saying people like the go to war for you, that go fight for our freedom. We don't want them to die, but so but some of these people that are so anti, full of hate, will use that. So
Of course.
me and my daughter were talking about it. So right, and then the other one was his, which was interesting, because I don't have to fully, like, I love the fact he loved the fact that you didn't have to agree with him.
Yep.
You can have a conversation, right? The other one was his whole thing about 1962, 63, the with the black people, the
Yep.
not freedom, what was it called? Um, Shoot,
It
don't.
was, yeah, and they've got, I can't think of it either, but they're convoluting that information as if,
Yeah,
right? Like it's, and if you do your due diligence and you just go and you check and you watch the whole clip yourself, then you're gonna see. And it's so interesting when you're watching social media in live time and this is
yeah,
all happening, like nobody pulls those clips up or wants to stop and be wrong because they feel like
yeah,
just the fact that they saw 50 other people that are their Facebook friends, but they don't really know, but they're their Facebook friends, they all
yeah,
shared it, so it must be true.
yeah.
And
That's the problem, right?
that's exactly the problem. And until they have, I mean, all you can do is keep planting the seed. But it's, it's just so interesting how much everybody forgets or how much they just go like, are you kidding me? That's a meme from Mr. Blue Jean Bum. You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah, yeah,
something, and
yeah,
you're like, how is that possibly a credible source? And then, of course, there is some that are credible, but they might have a spin on it, or like you can't really trust anything. And it's so interesting how if somebody proves you right, you'll extend the olive branch. You'll make lots of exceptions for them. But if they're
right.
against you, no exceptions. Like that one thing with Trump, that one comment that he made years ago about the women, and he can't believe that they'll let him do whatever. Well, I can't believe they'll let him do that either. And you know what? I bet every ugly rock star said that to themselves at some
Yeah,
point. Because you know, and I know, and I'm sorry, I'm going to break down a bunch of barriers here, but
yeah,
uh, a prostitute does not always include money, right? You're also being a prostitute if you're hanging out with a billionaire because he's going to take you out for dinner, he's going to take you to the show, he's going to introduce you to all the right people, and you're probably going to give him a little something something at the end. That is exactly the same. So when he's making that statement, it was contorted and like honestly, I don't know that I would cross the street to even see him. Like I don't love him. I don't dislove him. I see that he's making that country a better place. I wish we had somebody in charge that loved us that much. You know what I mean? And one thing with me that was a real turning point because I didn't watch The Apprentice. He just was never on my spectrum ever. But when he came forward that he was going to run the first time, I already, partially thanks to Sandy in our show, I already knew all about the Clintons. I already knew
yeah,
all sorts of information on that end. And what I found was an aha moment for me was clips of all he'd been on The View. They loved him. He'd been on all the shows. They loved him. They shook his hand. They took his donations. They didn't joke like about his hair. They weren't rude. They didn't care that he was a hose bag because he totally was. He was their friend, the donor. He was on, was it Oprah he was on, talking about
yeah,
if the country doesn't get better, he might as well run. Like,
yeah,
and same as this whole thing about, you know, honestly, I thought Jimmy Kimmel would have been canceled way before the other one. Is it Colbert that's on
yeah,
its way out? But I sit there and I think, like, we know their ratings for tanking. From what I'm seeing, is it isn't what he said that night that got him fired, because everything goes through a chain of command. He doesn't just say what he's going to say, but apparently it's what he was going to say the second night. And whoever was doing the read throughs, more red flags. But like he's the same guy that said, and people clapped, that if you were unvaccinated, you should be turned down for surgeries. Only the vaccinated people should get life saving care. Like, why didn't we cancel him back then? I'm just saying. You know
but
what I mean? Like, that's the mindset of people.
but
It's
that's
interesting.
but see, that's the challenge of, like, we 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 give, or it seems that people, high visible people, have authority or power, right?
Yep,
So, because that's, like we said, like these rock stars endorsing blah blah blah,
that's
right?
right. That's right.
And so, and like, and let's use good old Taylor Swift, right? And I hope she's marrying Kelsey, good football player, good guy. Well, he's a good guy, a good football player, and maybe she'll have some babies and whatever,
Maybe
right?
he'll talk some
So
sense into
sidebar,
her.
yeah. So sidebar, I watched him a debate, not like in like he did at the university, but it was actually with at I think it was at some university. A whole bunch of people sitting in chairs behind him. Was a young woman.
Yep.
She was so good, except she spoke really fast. She had
Oh,
all of her notes, and he
good.
didn't. He talked about one of the big things about feminism, and he talked about and he wasn't degrading. He
Right.
came so well. He talked about, I think women should stay home and have take care of their kids, have babies. And he
Yep.
goes, I don't think it's a bad thing, but he goes, I think feminism is caused more stress. So
Yep.
he's an intelligent guy, right?
Totally.
So and I think he goes and reads and gets his information and he knows, right? But he's sharing, goes, this is what I think. He goes, I think we've done more, like this feminist stuff has done more harm to women. So he was sharing that, right?
Yep.
So Civil Rights Acts of 1964. He says it was a huge mistake because it created permanent DEI type of bureaucracy.
Right.
So so here's this is the oh, it makes me mad. So all of this stuff, the people, like, we're a lot of people are so manipulated, and this is the
Oh,
problem with
terrible.
people like Fallon. Like, I used to watch Jimmy Fallon. Like, when he was funny in his guests, he was funny as guests. That's what you want. That was Johnny Carson. That was David Letterman.
Yeah.
They they didn't get into politics. You know what? They got into being funny, right?
Right.
The British guy. That's what you should do, right?
That's
You know,
exactly right. Like you're a singer, sing. Don't
see,
get into anything
but
else.
but here's what I believe, and I could be wrong. I should do a deep dive, a deeper dive.
Do a deeper dive.
I think what happened, I don't, um, it was probably before the first Trump run, but it might have been before, right? So but it's more to do with Republican and Democrats. So the first Trump run, he wasn't supposed to win, right?
No,
He
right.
wasn't. It was just like him running was a joke. And then who's he beat? He beats Hillary,
Yeah.
right? And Hillary beats Perot, right? Ross Perot,
I have no idea
and
who that is.
they basically buy him out. They wanted her, and they had this war chest, all this money, all the people behind the business, the television, like the tele. I mean, the television, whoever owns them, right?
Sure.
So so at that point, people want to be betting on a winning horse, right?
Sure,
So
of
so what
course.
happened? So Trump was his shows on TV, him being on Fab Five, the Oprah, whatever. He's done all these shows, whatever, right? He was all like, they all liked him when he was like
Exactly.
famous. And so in and around that time, so this is what, 10 years ago, whatever, it became more apparent, probably before that, but all of a sudden with media, it seemed like media controlled by, I think CNN is Turner, if I'm correct. I'm in trouble here, but the powers to be, because the position who's governing the U.S.
Oh, of
is
course.
is
And it's higher than that. It's
so
George Soros and the
so that
WEF,
was the
all
first
of them.
time I noticed, and probably not just me. It seemed more and more that media was not impartial.
Ruthless. Yeah, I agree.
Media became partial and beyond, like, a lot of people aren't dumb, but that's when it kind of stood out more, right? So things where you were being, and so going back to bringing it today, so go back to what you said about shows that are on that are communicating, and it'll be interesting to see shows like the View, like
I
what
can't
shows
believe
like
it's
that.
back on. I thought we got rid of that toxic cesspool.
But here's what I think, right? So the power of those shows is based on viewership, right? It's all about viewership, right?
And sponsor, yeah, and commercials and ads. Yep. Jimmy Kimmel was
Yeah.
bottoming out. His ratings were
Yeah.
terrible.
So if you're bottoming out, what do you got to do? You need a big, you need something big. So you say something big. That's the way it works, right? Like if you need a news story, that's the way
Yeah,
it works.
yeah, that's not, yeah, sort of. Depends on what it is. I mean, I
But
think,
but
I don't know.
but I think I'm not saying for sure, but just saying in a general sense. So if he's, I'm not saying a good guy or whatever.
Oh,
So
no,
hear
I
that.
know. That's
But
right.
if, but if but if he's if they submit a rough outline of how they do their show, right? So they give
Yep.
a rough outline. This is what we're going to do. This is the guest we have on, blah blah blah, right? And they do their monologue. It's because
It's
they,
approved.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the powers to be. What was the show I watched? And it was based on a true story. It was a show about the game show. The guy that memorized, oh, what was his name? Russell Crowe was on it. Press Your Luck. Well, you got to watch that one. So good.
Okay.
Press Your Luck, because he memorizes the game board and he wins this thing.
Oh,
Press Your
ooh,
Luck. So good.
sure
True
luck.
story. So, but you're right. So all of a sudden, the the channel, the channel doesn't want to look like the bad guy. So to save face, they're going to axe the show. They're going to axe him, right? And then Hollywood is going to be PO'd. Like they divert the attention to them because now they're blaming, you know, the right. I'm saying the right is Republican. I don't know who's right or left, but so all of a sudden, because like you said, what he said, I've heard worse.
Yeah, but you know how they, so a couple things. One, it's the fact that he outright lied. That's what they got him on. And it sounds like they were looking for an excuse to get rid of him for a while because he
Yeah,
was losing money, and it all goes down to the investors and the sponsors. So he was losing money for a long time, and he had totally wiped out his Republican base. Like, that's the thing. So, it was really just icing on the cake. And it's so interesting because we've seen Tucker Carlson got canceled, Roseanne Barr got canceled, Bill Maher, he got canceled like 10 years prior to the day, or 20 years prior. He talks about it, where he got canceled from the same station, ABC. And at the end of the day, and this is where, like, I get that, you know, Charlie Kirk would be against people being canceled because that's their freedom of speech. And I have mixed, like, when you're doing it on your own social media, that's one thing. So if your friends cancel you, or your coworkers because they don't want to work with you anymore, because depending on what your response was, like if it was kill them all, I wouldn't want to work with you either. But at the end of the day, like working for Weight Watchers, the whole time we're going through COVID, here were the basic rules. Don't talk about COVID. We're not debating masks. Vaccines is not a topic. We can talk about the fallout of COVID, or how you're managing re-entering into society or something, but we were not paid for our opinions. And I saw some coaches not necessarily aligned by that, but it's wrong. And
yeah,
so I think this is what everybody forgets. We all sign a contract, especially
yeah,
when you're in a job, and you would be too, when you're in a job where you're the face of the brand. And this
yeah,
is where he screwed up. Like, everything else aside, he should have kept that to his own personal page, or I don't know, like, I don't know, because he's so attached to that brand, if even that was an option. But if you want to make $18 million a year, which I think that's what I saw that he makes, you're going to have to give up some liberties, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I just find it so funny that so many people are so mad. Look at Don Cherry, right? Where are your you people? Where are your poppy? And
Yeah,
the guy just got tossed and a little bit of waves, but
yeah.
nothing like what you're seeing
But
here.
but, but we you're right. But and here's the thing. So go back to him, right? So political correctness, Don Cherry, right? This
Yeah,
whole thing, like, and I don't. Will this be for another time? But this whole like changing the Canadian the anthem, right, to
right,
be political correct. We're going to probably have to change it another 20 years.
right.
Just it's it's like the problem is who's sitting down having dialogue, and how do we have open dialogue, and how do we communicate? What does open dialogue talk about? Me and Ethan, he's in the room, so he'll probably hear me with my friend Miles in the car. We're coming back from Abbotsford. We're talking about socialism. And so and I may have said before, so one of the things that I appreciate my son is, and I want him, when he says socialism, I want him to explain what he's talking about, because you can say a word, like if that word is said to mom, she thinks of communism, and then she goes back into her world in 19 whatever.
Like people not knowing what fascism is, right?
Yeah,
Same thing. They're using
yeah.
it all over.
So
Or
so
Nazis. What's
so
happening?
so the thing is, yeah, cheers. So the thing is, um, talking about Kimmel. So right now, one of the big things that's happening, so the pushback on one side is freedom of speech, right?
Yep,
That's what's happening, right? But talking about him, and I've got his monologue, what he said, right?
yep.
Which again, I've seen worse,
Oh, me
because
too.
we have seen, like, when you outright lie, like, and we've heard, again, whoever watches this now or later or whatever, we've heard Trump say this, and see, we have recordings. Like, you can't get away with this stuff. If you say something,
Oh, 100%. It's all
like,
there.
it's there. It's not like 1,000 years ago, right?
Right.
uh, if you say something and you even make it's a lie, and you do an impartial, like, you try to um use it, like, misinterpret it,
Yep.
like he said, you should go to jail, like, that's,
Well, I'm glad they're starting to sue people for that.
yeah.
That's where I
so
think that's good. Because what
so
else
so
do you
go
do?
back to, if I get in trouble, like, so go back to, I don't watch The View, but you go back to places like this. See, journalism now, because journalism was never about this. It was never
Yeah,
about
no.
this. See, when shows like The View came on, see, remember, like, when shows like The View and these, I don't know these shows, right? Like, Ellen, I think, I don't like, I don't know these shows, I don't watch them, but I think Oprah kind of the beginning of these daytime talk shows. Is that correct?
Well, no, it was the guy.
Dr. Phil?
No, no, he's turned a corner though. No, it was oh my goodness. He was so big. Hold on, I will find out.
The black
You'll
guy?
know though.
Steve?
Who's Steve?
I don't know. Just made up a name.
It is not Jerry Springer, I'll tell you that.
No.
Um, so first talk show host was Joe Franklin, then Steve Allen, who launched the first late night. Then the Tonight Show started with Jack
No,
Parr.
I'm talking about daytime. Daytime.
Phil Donahue, that's who I was looking for.
Yeah. So
Phil
you're
Donahue.
right. So Phil Donahue. So if you look at, if I'm correct, if you look at daytime, they were more. It was more about the people and interviewing the, even with, like, even late night was more about, hey, actor, tell us about your new movie.
Oh, and a
What
band or a
what's going
comedian.
on? Yeah.
Yep,
So it was get to know the person,
that's
right?
right. That's
And then
right.
all of a sudden, go back 12 years ago, all of a sudden, what's your opinion on this? What do you think about this? Where do you stand? Are you anti-man? Are you blah blah blah, right? So all of a sudden, we've entered this dangerous point.
Very.
There's some
That's what
really
we're seeing, the
dangerous.
fallout.
There are some dangerous politicians out there in the States that are going to get people hurt or worse. So
What's
I'm saying
happened?
that.
This is the fallout now. We're past that. We're
Yeah,
so past
but I'm
that.
just saying. But I'm saying more, right? So, and here's the thing: is when
But
what
how do you
happens?
put on the brakes? Like if you're Maxine Waters and you've
Who's
said
that?
she's a politician in the States and
Yeah,
she says, get in their face, drive them out of the restaurant, don't let them have peace. And Chuck Schumer, there's a whole bunch of them. Even Joe
yeah.
Biden said it, Obama said it. So when there's a whole series of clips all put together of all these people that have been inciting everything that's happening now. And even to say, okay, everybody, tone and both sides, everybody, tone it back, tone it back. I think we're past that. They're
But
like,
see,
they're planning these big events. It's,
so but that's the danger, right? So I'm just looking at some information, Jimmy Fallon. So one of the things that began the this kind of um the in comedy, Saturday Night Live, they would do kind of the mack up moshing, make fun of people, right? Long time
yeah,
ago,
but
right?
they turned that dark corner too, didn't they?
Didn't they? Right?
They did.
But I remember like people like Trump or Obama or other people that were on there, and they make fun of themselves. Whatever. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. But it was done in this thing, right? And then I
Yeah,
remember
like
like
there's a mean spirit now that there didn't used to be, now that you say that.
so conspiracy theorists. I'm not usually, but supposedly that is
Is it a
again.
theory?
It's a narrative past encouraged to because you've got viewership. Because viewership, if you can give a narrative that will have them come to your sheep, come to your side, you know.
Yeah.
So, which is media was never meant to be that, right? But
No, no, I agree.
that's the challenge, right? So going back, so one of the things that I'm learning, this is in, and I got a Gabor Mate. Before I'm finished, I got to tell you one last thing about that.
Okay.
So that we'll leave on a positive. Get all this
I wrote it down.
vomit out, right? But this is a good thing, right? So one of the things, a little bit of shift. So one of the things that not just Trump but other countries are trying to do is to get Russia and Ukraine to stop the war. We'll try to get Russia to stop the war, right?
Yeah.
And
And
which is a bit.
Ukraine as
What's
well.
that?
And
What was that?
Ukraine. Yep.
Yeah, well, Ukraine trying to defend and Russia, and no matter what side you want, but Russia's just bigger, right?
Right.
Right. And I'm not picking side, but Russia.
No, 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 that's
Yeah.
right.
And so finding mediation is hard, and finding a medium is difficult. And I'm going to use a different story after, but getting parties to sit down and to navigate a truce, but and the truce is step one, but finding common ground, right? And it's hard. First of all, it's hard when you're dealing with men who like power, and but you have to do that. So the other one that's been off and on forever, and I was telling some people, friends of mine, this whole, but people who don't understand history. So Russia and Ukraine, you got to understand the history there. You have to understand the history. I'm not saying it's right, but you have to understand the history of why the importance, seemingly important, this for what's his face, Putin. You have to
Right.
understand the history of it, and we don't get it, but you have to understand like that for them is lost land. But anyways, same as with Palestine. And I just saw something that Carney just signed something, right? So
Yeah, that we acknowledge them.
as a state,
Yeah.
yeah. So to whatever degree, Trudeau did stuff we didn't like, whatever. So whatever these guys are doing, right? But I'm saying this to mom, but other people, if we go in blind, then half the stuff doesn't make sense, and then we don't look. So understanding that in the Middle East, that Israel and the whole Middle East, for most of the whole Muslim world, have been fighting for thousands and thousands and thousands of worlds. They've conquered each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Don't like each other, right?
I
Now
don't
there's
really
a
do
lot.
world history. That's not
What's
my
that?
thing. I don't really do world history.
Well, I'm just helping you a little bit for 2 seconds. You're in two
I
seconds.
didn't ask, but okay.
Well, it's free. I'm not charging you this week, right? But when we understand that, so if you were so, but just so you know, deep dive with you when you're working with a new client, customer, whatever you call them.
Remember?
I was going to give cinnamon and honey. No, but what happens is when we need information helps us, right? So so because what's going on both sides, because I have people that are like pro one side or the other side with they validate why, right? And we would like I think most rational people say like killing people on the other side is wrong, like human life's important,
That's
right?
right.
Right. So how do we find common ground? And it's hard because it takes humility. And so there would be valid points on both sides. So bring it all back, bring it all back, Tom, bring it
Let's
all
bring
back.
it back.
So in the States, I've seen some, and I hate people who exaggerate. I was almost going to swear, because there's people that are close to us that maybe we shared a womb. No joking. There's people close to us that I don't exaggerate. Don't say everybody. Don't say this and that. Right. Don't
Right.
like try to make your number
That's
big.
right.
Right. So I know people on both sides in the States of the party of what the craziness going on. They don't want craziness.
Right.
So right now, so there's people that are on, I'm just gonna say, like I said, Democrat side are saying we gotta, this is gonna be not, this is gonna be really bad, right?
For sure.
So the first step is intervention. You gotta get people in the room. So the people that you mentioned that I was going to mention, then there's a few other crazies. You have to, and somebody said, "We take away the rights." You hold them accountable as politicians, and
Yeah.
you get them into a room. You close the door. You get rid of the media, and you say, "We need to have a talk. We need." And it's hard. And it's hard
Yeah, but then
because
you're forcing them.
you're closed doors. You're having a conversation. You're having big boys,
Yeah.
and you may not come to a decision. It like when we do
I know
stuff,
what you're saying in theory. In theory.
and unfortunately it sounds like you're working with a child.
Yeah, so they're not gonna, and that's the thing. I just saw something, and I can't tell you who specifically it was. And just to be clear, there's extreme people on both sides. No,
100%.
right? No getting around that.
100%.
But if you're like, you have to be, oh, I wish I could remember exactly what it was I saw that on, but you have to, like, the way that we're willing to look at something, question it, and go and take 3 minutes to find the full clip, or go watch somebody else. Like, I know this human that is not related to us, if you can imagine. And he she's so fearful. She's so solid in everything she says, which is riddled with misinformation. But if you say, well, like, so she'll talk about mainstream media, and then she'll say, you know, I realize that my social media is all left leaning, so I'm not getting any alternate information in. And then she talks about the mainstream media, and they're all just as bad, right? Like, anybody on the left will have one person representing the right. Everybody at Fox News, they're all on the right with one person. That is not equal. I don't know where their mathing skills went, but not equal. So then you say to this same person, well, why don't you check out, because the digital age is the new age.
Right.
Cable TV as we know it, and Jimmy Kimmel is just a part of this. It's on its way out. And he's going to recreate himself, just like they all do, right? They all get kicked off of Megan Kelly. That's where she came from. What's it, Candace Owens? She came from something. They all come from something else. They recreate themselves on Twitter or Shutter, or I don't know, a bunch of programs I've never heard of in my life. But that's what they do. They recreate themselves. But a lot of people I know that I'm seeing these comments, or that girl I was talking about, I could say to them, well, why don't you check out, I don't know, just to see what the others are saying. I'm
Right.
not saying right, but like go check out Blaze TV or go check out Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens. She was like his best friend. She shared, actually, I don't know if you saw it, but she did a tribute to him, to Charlie, and she was talking about how they train for these open mic question things. And so they'll be like asking each other the hard questions, being on board with the facts, with the bill number, with the like, that's why he's so amazing. Steven Crowder, he
Right.
did the same thing. He actually has come out recently. He used to do a series called Change My Mind, and me and Al loved it. And it was exactly the same thing. So he would be the leader in doing that for sure. And I'm not a fan of his, but this was really good. And it would be like there are two genders, change my mind or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And he'd have these good conversations. Well, I stopped watching him a long time ago, just because I'm not a fan of his personality. But I saw him on somebody's show just this last week talking about he wishes now he would have told more people why he stopped doing it, because he was getting the cement milkshakes. He had to up his security. People were slashing his tire. Like, so he just went away quietly. And now he carries some guilt that he didn't let them know really how terrible it is. Now, should that have made a difference? No. And he had a mission. He was wearing a bulletproof vest that day. So he obviously was aware of some danger.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just so interesting how we've come so far. And I've always said, and I still believe it, the day they made, whether it's CNN or whatever it is, when they made news 24 hours, that's when everything went for a crap, because that's when they had to fill time. And then of course your sponsorship and all the other stuff. So like I think if you're a fan of Jimmy Kimmel or the other one who danced with the vaccine needles, those, if that's your jam, they'll be back.
Yeah.
Elon Musk isn't going to ban any of them from Twitter. They can have a live there. That's where Tucker Carlson came. All of those, all of those platforms, they all pay apparently in addition to YouTube. So if he truly has fans that were not attached to just tuning in at 10, whatever his time slot was, he's going to recreate himself. He's going to be fine. He might even do better. Who knows? Like in
Yeah.
Bill Maher, he's a great example. He's a Democrat, but he is in that gray area of not crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know if you followed any of that when he went to the White House, and people like
Yeah.
really lost their crap about it. And he said, I've been one of the highest donors to the Democratic Party for X number of years. I don't know, his whole adult life or something. Trump was the first one to ever give him a tour of the place. That
Yeah.
like spoke volumes to him. And he still insults him. He still exercises his freedom of speech, but he doesn't lie. He doesn't bullshit. He says, I don't like this. I don't like this because, blah, 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 but I do like this. Right. And
Yeah.
that's what we need to bring back. And that'll leave more clear heads in the world.
Well, and this is right now why it's a hard pill to swallow for some.
Yep.
When you, so I've told mom too, mom's a big Fox lover,
Yep.
the
I don't
show.
watch that either. I don't watch any
No.
of it.
And so, and I say what you just said. I said, because she goes, oh, well, they have Democrats on. I go, so what?
One that isn't even really like, anyways,
Well, they
yeah.
have one guy they make fun of, and they have a girl that's on and
Yeah. And
whatever.
they pick on them. It's terrible.
Yeah. But that's but but see, this is like I'm in sales like you, but I'm in sales, right? So I understand marketing. I'm not the best in the world, but I'm pretty good at what I do, right? So I understand, like I was telling somebody the other day, where like if I'm talking to a customer and I'm not manipulating them, but if I know their if I know their language or their need or their itch, then if I believe, because I don't try to like sell people things they don't need, but if
No,
I
right,
believe I have a product that fits their need, coffee
right,
obviously, then I try to communicate in a way that makes sense. So instead of telling it how much it is a kilo, which is going to freak them out, I'll say, well, this is what's cost you per cup. They go, oh, that's not bad. That makes sense. So I help them. Actually, I'm doing their job for them is breaking down price because half of them don't, right?
right.
So part of that's what I was saying before, like, and this is what Charlie did well, right? And
Yeah,
people like Charlie and Ben, but people are intimidated by them. We need more people like them, even on the other side. We need
yeah,
people that, like, when I went to school, I was in the debating class,
yeah,
and I'll say this one story that I'll share this about this thing coming up. That's free, by the way. That so I remember this. I was in grade 11. I don't remember what class it was. It must have been not law, but whatever, political science, I guess, whatever was back then in the dinosaur days, right? Um, and so I was a part of a debating team. It was in class. It wasn't like after school. I didn't do anything after school. And so,
yeah, you did.
well, I did some things. Yeah, yeah, we helped the cheerleading for the sports
Cheers.
teams, the cheerleading,
Get them
horticulture.
happy.
I was part of the horticultural team.
You go. There you go.
But
Greenhouses are us.
so one of the things I remember we had to do, we had to do a oral presentation, and there's a team of three and a team of three, and they broke the class, right? And so, but we each had to go, and so we were talking about the death penalty. So the first day we go up and we give pro and con. So the first day we go pro, why we should have the death penalty, the reasons why, blah blah blah. And then the next day we had to give our arguments against it, and we got like we had to sell it, pitch it, right?
Sure, of course.
So I think that's why I appreciate people like Ben and Charlie, that right.
Yeah,
So but we need, if you have values on whatever sides, then we need people that can communicate them with their great convictions and passion
yep,
with respect, right? And
right.
that, like when I saw Charlie speaking to that young lady, and he was talking about feminism and talking, he goes, I believe, and he goes, I'm not trying to degrade women. I just think women should be at home. I think it's not that men are greater or not, but we need, like, the greatest gift is raising the kids. He goes, I think this mindset of putting women in the world and success and all that has done more damage. And by the way,
100%.
and that's what he talks about, the act in 64. He goes, I'm not saying that there should be rights in that. He goes, but writing that act, I believe it became a problem, right? I'm going to
Right.
leave with this. Okay. So I like Gabor Mate because of the stuff that I do. You said you know a little bit about him, right?
Oh, yeah, I've shared lots of stuff of his.
Yeah. So there is right now the first ever 3-day free event online, and it is what's it called here?
Did you sign up?
I'm doing it. So my time. So it's this Tuesday, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. What days are those? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. my time. So it's 10 p.m. your time. It's an hour live, about an hour and a half live, and they're talking about trauma, 3 days of transfer, and who's talking. And so it's understanding trauma impacting the brain. So it's not just talking about like accident trauma, but all
No,
trauma,
no, right.
breaking free of mental prison. So the speakers are Gabor, but there's also Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. I'll send the link. I'll put it in the thing, but
Yeah,
it's
put it in
free. But you
too.
have to register. You have to register. I want to see who the people are. So there's four of them speaking. Tim Fletcher, who's a trauma recovery and addiction specialist. So I know him. Like, I know of him. He's great. It's great. And then Marcia Peer. So these are all like people in the field,
Yeah,
authors and stuff like that, right?
that's
So it came on my wall. So I was telling my daughter to do it. I told a few people, I said, you know what? Sign up for it because it doesn't cost anything. And if you use it or not, they're not going to charge you. And if you listen to a bit of it and
true.
it's not your jam, not your jam, but it's free.
Right.
So especially I want to listen to it because I got nothing better to do with my daughter. But so going back to everything we talked about, things that you and I always do, things that we were talking about earlier about our personal stuff, right?
Right.
Is in the midst of um, just challenging stuff like the last few weeks, two people I know, and Joe, cancer's come back. Um, Teresa, who doesn't listen, but a family member of hers can't found out they had cancer,
Mm.
and how people, it's hard. Like just hearing those words are hard, right? So part of it, and this is I always say it's one of your strengths, is me and Michelle deal with our own stuff. We're not like we're trying to people. Michelle's better at than me. My daughter calls me the dream killer once in a while, not very often these days. But part of what it is with whatever's going on in the world, the stress, the things that just become like mud, we take a breath, we let it go. Michelle mentioned about meditating. We got to find a place where we can get our air back.
Right.
And we can't control what we can't control, right?
Exactly.
But we don't want it to suck the life that we have.
Exactly.
Right? You just had your grandkids over, right? Family?
Yeah. Yep. They
And you
just
kicked out the bad ones, right?
yeah. Yeah. No,
But
we get
anyways,
what we get. We get what
yeah.
we get.
But yeah, so we'll be back next week. Me and Michelle was
Yeah.
saying too, just with some things. If we're not able to be on, we'll just post it and
Yeah.
we'll try to post some things to encourage everybody if there's things that are helpful. That's all I got.
Yeah, and if you have something, you, the viewer, that you would like to post, you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to do that. If you have a movie or documentary you'd like us to review and share with you, because you can
Yeah,
interact,
yeah,
I
yeah,
can read,
yeah.
then yeah, do that as well and give us some new material to watch.
I'm
That
a
would be
professional
absolutely,
reviewer.
yeah, right. That could be our next handle. Absolutely. And no matter what happens, just remember you're absolutely amazing, exactly as you are. And we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Right, Tom?
I'm a
Right.
moose. I'm a moose.
Tom on the loose. Tom on the loose.
Bullwinkle.
There you
Bye,
go.
everybody.
Perfect. And we are done and
That was fun.
done.